Welcome back to an episode of Kate and Isaiah Living Large. I'm Isaiah.
And I'm Kate.
And in this episode, we're going to talk about the rise of the big booty babes. I'm being PG for the first 5 minutes because we don't want to get censored.
Yeah. So,
well, 2 minutes.
what was the last word you said? The rise of the big booty
Babes.
Babes. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we'll use another word later.
Oh,
when our timer runs out.
okay. I wouldn't have added that qualifier.
Oh, well, okay, whatever. I'm going to use it later.
Okay, good. Okay, whatever you do in your spare time.
But before we talk about that, what's new? What's the hap? Welcome to, I don't even know what day it is. It's the November 26th. It's like the last
It's
Wednesday
the end of the
month.
month already.
We are going into December.
Yes, we are. It is. November seems to have just flown by. What has gone on? I did a couple of comedy shows last week. I did 2 in Moncton in one night. Like a real big city amateur comic. That's what you do if you live in a place like Toronto, New York. You try to hit 2, 3, 4 mics in a night and test out your jokes.
Well, yeah.
And so that was pretty fun. And I wrote a new bit on my way there, and I was pretty excited about it. And it worked both places.
Nice.
And it still worked when I tried it at a gig on Saturday night as well. And Fredericton at a Mexican restaurant.
Ooh, comedy at a Mexican restaurant.
It was such a, El Mariachi is the name of the restaurant. It was very good, and they were very busy. And I was like, do people know there's a comedy show here? Or are they just here for their nachos?
Oh my goodness, embarrassing.
And then comedy breaks out.
I came for the nachos, stayed for the jokes.
Yeah, stayed for the jokes. But it was a good crowd and receptive crowd. And I got to go first, which is, I kind of like the bullet spot. That's what they call that in the biz.
What's the bullet spot?
Yeah, when you go first in an open mic kind of.
That because that's the first person to get shot. Is that
I guess
why it's called the bullet?
Or they set the tone as fast as a speeding bullet. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why it's called that. I don't know why you asked me skill testing questions.
Well, now I'm interested to know why it's called the bullet spot. I'm going to look it up later.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, we can also use that B word now.
Already?
Yeah, it's only 2 minutes. You got
boxes?
Big booty boxes.
Ooh.
No, I like no. Big booty bitches. That's the B word.
I think big booty babes is better.
I like babes. I
like babes. But I also just like the rise. So the cultural phenomenon of the big booty is what we're talking about here today. But I didn't check in with you, Isaiah. How are things with you?
Doing good. You know, it's we're riding into the end of the year here. December's kind of a relaxed time for me for as far as work goes, so like holidays pretty relaxed before we jump into the new year and start going crazy,
right?
You know, doing a lot of hiring of people, which is kind of nice.
How do you find doing that? Like,
I like hiring people. I like hiring people. I don't like having to do a lot of the interviewing portions of it.
Really?
Yeah. I don't like having to like interview people and then them sit in front of me and me know when as soon as they sit down, they say like answer the first couple questions. I'm like, okay, I'm not hiring this person.
Well, do you ever tell them that?
No. Gosh, no.
Okay. No, I know you can't in the moment, but like, has that ever happened to you where somebody looks really great on paper?
Yes, all the time.
Oh yeah.
It looks amazing on paper and then
they open their mouth.
Yeah.
What to you is a really big turnoff as an interviewer?
There are a few things that like. One thing is like the way you answer one of our first questions. It's specifically around why you chose to apply at my location. And when it comes to the why, you've got to fit in with the why family, right? Like, of course. So when if you're talking about that, it's a job and you might want to work, that's not someone I'm hiring you at the why. I'm sorry. I get that's why you applied, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. That's
so interesting because it's like a job and I want to work. If they truly want to work, do you think they could? Is there a follow-up question that could signify? Because I think that could be an answer that is given in earnest. Like, it's a job and I want to work.
Yeah, but why the why?
Because you're hiring.
Well, that's not the answer I'm looking
But
for.
then you could ask a follow-up question of what do you know about the why?
No, I asked the very second question for those of you who ever interviewed with me. Most of you might not, probably, but the second question is I give them the why values, and I want them to answer what value it is that they feel represents them and why.
Great.
And that's the follow-up question. So if they can answer that second question, the first question has a little bearing on it, but those two questions are very important.
Yeah, absolutely. To fit into the culture somewhere, those are paramount. And I think it's just a good tip for anybody applying for, well, those of you boys and girls applying for jobs out there. The why, the WHY you're applying is
yes.
It has to go beyond because I need a job.
Yes, it does. Think of when you're going to an interview, no matter where you're going to an interview, look at that place, look at their, like, even just their statement on why they exist, and try and cater your why you applied to them based off of that.
Yes.
If you can tell me a BS answer, I'll be happy with it. But yeah, that's basically what I've been doing, and then prepping for my I'm working towards my lifeguard certification because I was sick the day I was supposed to actually get it.
That sucks.
Getting ready to be certified to teach first aid, and bronze medallion, bronze cross, all the lifeguard stuff.
Nice.
That's my December, is basically getting my lifeguarding and learning how to teach all of the things.
You're going to be a hero.
Sure.
Turns out you're right. Not all heroes wear capes. Also make them.
You based on The Incredibles, you should not wear a cape. Yeah, no, you've never seen The Incredibles. Oh.
I don't watch movies like you do.
I love movies.
I know you do. I love that.
But let's get into our topic.
We talked about your interview turnoffs. Now let's talk about society's latest turn on.
Turn on.
Oh, that a segue.
All right, let's talk about big booty babes.
Yeah. So, I kind of broached this topic because I came across a Reddit thread that's like, what's the deal? I don't know why it's this Jerry Seinfeld impression, but
it's a Jerry Seinfeld moment. What's the deal with big booty?
Because I know for me, when I was growing up with my naturally big booty, regardless of how heavy I was, I've always had big butt. And when I was a kid and people used to call me fat ass, I did not enjoy that. And that was certainly a derogatory term. And, and that's the culture of the 90s and early 2000s, in which I was a teenager and very affected by these kinds of things in middle class white New Brunswick.
That the white is the key word.
Yeah. And so I thought, but society at large, today, there's like people are doing squats up the yazoo. People are getting butt implants.
BBLs,
the Brazilian butt lift.
The Brazilian butt lift that Drake had allegedly.
And dump truck ass is a term of endearment.
So I want to clear something up, because fat ass and big butt are two different things. They are two different terms.
Can you explain this?
Yes. So big butt is big and like it's thick with C's. Fat ass can be a little bit more like round and not as like solid. There's a difference.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Okay.
I just want to clear that up.
Are both attractive or both?
It depends on the person. That's okay. As we talk about all the time. It's very variable based on person.
Well, of course.
But if we're talking about society's looking for thick with two C's and like very solid, though. That's why like the Brazilian butt lift is a thing, right? It's not about the butt being like big, and it's about it being thick.
It's not about it being big, round, and juicy.
It's about it being thick, round, and juicy.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more solid.
Okay.
I just want to. There's a difference.
It's a fact check, fat ass fact check. Brought to you by Isaiah. But so this topic is going off the rails. I feel like this is a terrible idea.
This is a great topic. This is a topic that I could talk about for days.
But I do think there's something to be said for that shape of the smaller waist and the round out. Yes. I think that is also something that is frequently brought up in so the people who are trying to execute the thick butt.
Yes.
Through squats and butt lifts is different from the people who have a natural shape of Correct. I'm not even going to say hourglasses. We're not even talking about the top right now. Just the in out round situation.
Yes. Those are two different things.
And they're both, I think society deems both in varying levels of attractive, right?
Yeah.
Although like,
let's reverse back to the 90s, right? Yeah. Talking about the 90s, in the hip hop world, big butts were always the thing. That's why, Sir Mix-a-Lot, that literally is what Sir Mix-a-Lot talks about.
It's true, but there's actually, and I only bring this up, I'm glad that Sir Mix-a-Lot came out so early, because in this Reddit thread that I found, somebody pointed out that there's a line in the song that's like, society will tell you that fat butts aren't the thing, but they are for me. So he was saying that he was like, no, I don't care what society says and what those magazines say, but I Sir Mix-a-Lot like big butts.
Yes, but that is specifically hip hop culture has always been about big butt. It was magazines.
Yeah.
The mainstream culture at large, and I think this will tie into why we're talking about this topic. Mainstream culture at large before hip hop really hit mainstream and became big was about thin, skinny people. Heck, we said Britney Spears was fat at the MVAs.
Yeah, something like that,
she was so skinny in that.
Well, and there's a societal there's a culture of that. Like they used to talk about Marilyn Monroe being fat, and that
right.
famous dress that Kim Kardashian later wore is a size 5.
Right.
That is not fat. But she did have a shape.
Yes.
There was like that. There's a period in the 90s where supermodels were like just
wafer thin,
skinny. It's like gross heroin skinny. Chic skinny.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, good one. Heroin chic. But I think you can track as hip hop culture becomes more mainstream, the more we find thick, big butts attractive. I think there's
in modern day culture.
There's a trend on that. Like that's specifically how the trend goes.
That's
right?
So interesting. What an interesting line. That's a very interesting thread to pull at. I think you're right, because the first famous in deviation from that waif thin supermodel style of the 90s that I recall is the Jennifer Lopez effect.
Yep. Yeah. Jennifer Lopez and Shakira to
an extent. Yeah.
But Jennifer Lopez definitely like in the top.
Yeah. That was like her thing. Like she had that green dress that everybody was like, va va boom, va va bum. I don't know. I don't know. And that's when people started to talk about it. And, you kind of broached this hip hop culture, I think it's fair to say, is largely black.
Yeah. I would say you are probably correct on that.
Yeah. I got all white woman-y there for a second. Can I say it? but and in a lot of black cultures, like I know Jamaican culture, and
big girls.
They like the thick, big, and big girls. They like the big. They like them thick and big, and
they do. I know many Jamaican friends.
And it's a funny thing going back to like being a thicker white girl in New Brunswick growing up in the 90s, thinking that everything about you is hideous. All of a sudden finding themselves even in just a larger city with more population, being like, Oh, oh no, this people are very into this.
Yes.
It's a real paradigm shift for the old self-esteem.
Yeah, yeah, especially like early 2000s, going from here to like Toronto would definitely be a big change out.
Yeah.
Because like in general, hip hop took its time getting here. Still does.
No, it doesn't. I mean, not really. The music is here, but culturally is probably.
Culturally it didn't. I in my lifetime, hip hop went from being nothing here to being probably what it was in the early 2000s in Toronto here.
Right.
Like we're not even close to what hip hop could be.
Yeah, but I
think culturally
that goes along with the population that we have here.
It's true, but I think culturally it's interesting because I think there are people out there that hate hip hop that take so much from the hip hop culture they don't know it.
Yeah, probably
because it's very much mainstream culture now. Like again, we go back to our topic, right?
Yeah,
thick butts, big butts. That's straight from hip hop culture.
Well,
that's where it came from.
Again, in modern day. In historic context, there's a lot of art. Like,
yeah.
Like I think it's Renoir paintings and stuff where women are like naked ladies are very thick.
Yes. Yeah.
And big, thick and fat in their butt and their bellies, because that's in that context, it's a sign of wealth.
Yes. Yeah. There was a documentary I watched a while back that talks about the clothing and the way historically society kind of becomes more conservative, and as society becomes more conservative, then skinny people become it.
They're easier to cover.
And then as we become more liberal, it becomes, more thick and, voluptuous.
Ooh, we nailed that at the same time.
and so as you become more liberal, that's kind of the way. And then eventually the pendulum swings back around, because that's the way society works, as a pendulum.
Well, the other thing that was brought up on the Reddit thread is I think your point on hip hop culture, and you're very vested in that because I know you're a longtime hip hop fan, is the rise of obesity and normalizing fat as a part of it as well. That was one of the items that popped up on the Reddit thread, and I thought that was an interesting thing as well, because obesity has also risen exponentially in the last 25 years.
Yeah, no, I think that might not be quite as correlated,
well, I don't know. I think it might be.
I think there's probably a little bit to that. I don't know if it's as much of. I think that part is the more historically liberal piece of the puzzle than the rise of hip hop piece of the puzzle.
I think they're both. I suspect they both play a role.
I think so, but. Hip hop isn't a lot more about thick booty, but skinny waist. Kind of. So I'd say it has a little bit to do with, the acceptance of obesity, but I would not give it as much credit as some people would try and give it.
No,
the hip hop is notoriously bad for females that want to be thicker. Like it's just. Booty, yes. Everything else, no. It's just really bad for that.
How do you think that these things being talked about in the mainstream media, not even media, but mainstream society, impacts the average person living in our neck of the woods and their definition of attractiveness?
I think that because we live in a smaller province, less exposed to everything else.
That's not true anymore. We do have the internet, Isaiah. I think you keep saying that, but I don't think that's entirely true.
The internet, being exposed to the internet and being exposed to actual people are two different things.
Yeah, but I also think that things are moving a lot faster than when we were in high school.
This is true, but I think your algorithm feeds you stuff, right? The algorithm is king, and so depending on your thoughts and feelings, or even just what one input that you may have thought of at one point, it can feed you how you feel.
No, I understand what algorithms are.
Right.
But what I'm saying is the algorithm is not necessarily, it can be based on your geographic location, but it also is based, you could pulls worldwide, particularly on TikTok. And other ones, there's more streamlining because of rules. But but with TikTok, it's pulling worldwide. So it's interesting to see how videos get posted in different places. And in some cases, yeah, you're going to pull New Brunswick content because you're in New Brunswick. But in a lot of cases, you're pulling from all over. Like the world has moved so much faster that culturally, like fashions, people are wearing what's being published in magazines, or moreover, what people are wearing in the celebrity realm more presently than it having to come out in Cosmo or YM or whatever you're reading as a teenager and then waiting 18 months for it to come to New Brunswick. We're not in that same, I think, avenue. Yeah, because we can also order things online.
I think that we are still behind. We're not like 20 years behind theoretically anymore.
No, I don't even think we're 1 year behind.
Oh, we're about 5 years behind.
On what though? Particularly,
I would say on fashion, we're about 1 year behind.
From who though? 1 year behind what?
I think we're behind Toronto. Toronto's behind LA. LA's, well, New York's behind LA. Toronto's kind of caught up to New York. The fashion world is different time zoned, but yearly time zone based, right? LA's fashion LA's fashion will be 5 years from now St. John fashion.
I don't know. I don't know if I know that. I don't know if I fully buy that.
We haven't even hit the military garb fashion that was 2 years ago fashion. We just starting to see that here.
You just can't see it. It's just camouflaged.
But
I don't know, Isaiah. You can't tell me that people in New Brunswick haven't been wearing
different.
Cargo pants for 25 years.
No, there's hunter like hunter camo, and then there's military camo fashion.
You fatigued me.
Oh, but no. But I think that yes, we see it faster, but I think we are slower to adopt it.
I disagree. I think in our generation maybe, but I think if you look at the Gen Alpha kids and the Gen Z kids, I think that they are wearing those Birkenstock clogs and wide jeans. I'm also wearing Birkenstock clogs, by the way. I'm very fashionable. I would argue again that they are that. So back to the big booties, though.
I would argue culturally that we are still behind. We are still very behind.
Speaking of behinds,
but yeah,
we veered off course.
Well, cultural.
But I guess what I'm saying is, back to the original point about butts. We're behind.
Yes, but I think hip hop culture definitely had a huge bearing on that. And again, like I said before, it does. I'm sure it can track the acceptance of big booty to the acceptance and mainstreaming of hip hop,
but also the rise of obesity. Like those things all fall in the same time frame. So
yeah,
like correlation is not causation, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And really, if you wanted to really put, you probably put like the rise of corn syrup in that, like that. If
high fructose
really, that I think those obesity and that rise of high fructose corn syrup, is probably more correlated than hip hop. I think hip hop and big booty just happens to be somewhat in the same bar graph as the rise of.
Oh yeah, and that goes back to like these are very popular things and like big booty has been talked about for 15 years now.
Yeah.
Or more.
Well,
so
way more.
Way longer, but I do so now this has been in the realm, for lack of a better term. And do you think, it goes back to my original question, how do you think that influences what the average 25 to 45-year-old New Brunswick hetero man thinks of level of attractiveness? Right
now, I think it's a big factor. Do I think it's going to be a big factor in 3 to 5 years? No, I think you're going to see a swing down.
Okay.
I think there is a huge rise in conservatism in the world.
Yeah, in some ways, but
and
also
in that rise, you will see the swing down of the big booty.
also people can't afford groceries.
That too, that too. But I think that definitely correlates to that kind of thing.
That's interesting. And now, do you think that what your natural instinct to be attracted to something is heavily influenced by what you see in the media, regardless of what's there?
Yes. Oh, for sure. It as your brain is like if you think about kids today in high school, what the media is feeding them is definitely influencing what they're going to find attractive.
Yeah.
Once you hit 21, 22, you probably have almost solidified what you
find attractive.
But I think as you hit like through middle school up till that age group, I think that's kind of when you're developing, and what media tells you and what people around you tell you is attractive. That's what you will find attractive.
So the average man, let's say the average 42-year-old man, so a man my age, who grew up in the 90s thinking that super skinny girls were super attractive, and then they were told that big booty girls were super attractive. Who do you think they're walking down the street looking at?
It depends on what they grew up with, because
I just told you what they grew up with.
But you got to think that 40-year-old man, 40 years old is your NWA, your
40-year-old man in St. John, New Brunswick.
Yeah, so that's your NWA, that's your hip hop era. That's your big hip hop era.
Yeah,
that's when.
But that's not when we started to talk about the. It's when we started to talk about it.
I think that is the key moment when hip hop hit mainstream.
Okay.
Because I'm 37. You gotta really think about that. I'm 37. I grew up on hip hop.
Yeah.
So
but 42
I would say
only 5 years.
I would say 45.
Yeah.
45 and older. I think that's where you're looking at people saying that they probably find skinny
the most attractive,
flat attractive. I think younger than 45 is
big booty.
Yeah.
Got a big booty.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool.
I think that's kind of the age gap, because 45 you're still in the NWA era, but that's just beginning to hit.
So we'd love to hear your comments. If you're listening to this and you have an opinion on fat bottom girls who make the rock and world go round, please weigh in on the comments. This is a super interesting discussion.
Yeah,
I am glad I thought of it.
Yeah, it's a good topic. But where can people find us on the internet?
You can find us at Kate and Isaiah Living Large on the Facebook, and I think the Instagram probably.
Probably. Yeah, we don't post on the Instagram.
We should post more. I should post more.
You should post more.
I should post more.
And of course, you can find me at Maritime Brews on all of the social medias. And if you want to donate to us, we still have the Buy Me a Coffee up. Someday we'll get that new mic going. Maybe next year.
We made a little schedule. We're going to take a 2-week hiatus at Christmas time.
Yeah. So maybe when we come back around, we'll have something.
Man, we'd love to. We're scratching at the bottom of the barrel for topics here of just the two of us. So it'd be nice to have some guests on.
Yes. And of course, wherever you're listening, if you're listening on like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever, if you can like, share, subscribe, or you can watch us on YouTube with a video. And if you're on YouTube, you can like, share, subscribe over there. It's much appreciated. But until next week, bye.